Everyone. So Pat, we've got semifinals in Hamilton against McMaster. Obviously, played them start out the year, and the team's come a long way since then. So taking a look at the teams, we can just tell us about the matchup this week.
21-point underdogs. It's interesting. You know, our goal this week is to play much better than we did in week one, and I think we can do that. I think we're a better team now, but so are they. They've got. I doubt that there's a lot of good money being bet on us right now, even with the spread. Although Karine will verify that with me later.
Who's making that spread?
I don't know. Who is it? That's.
You've heard that?
I heard it. 21.5. Not even 21. 21.5. They're good. They have the top-rated quarterback. Probably one of the better kids in Canada playing right now. He's all of 6'3". He's about 210 pounds. He's got great speed. He can take off. I mean, he's a very, very complete player. Decent backfield. I mean, the Pizzetta kid is coming on now, and Nemeth is the senior. So between the two of them, you know, they share the rock. They kind of run the ball to really complement their passing game. Multiple motion. Parasini and DeCroce, very, very good players. Fochesano, good receiver also. So they got a good receiving core and a big beastie offensive line as well. Defensively, they play very cautiously. They don't give you many big play opportunities, and when they do, you got to be real sharp to see them. So we're up against it. There's no question. This is a very, very good team, and they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. They've had the bye. They've had a chance to mend up. So. And they got the home game, so it's certainly tilted in their favor this weekend, no question.
All right, questions?
Coach, what do you read into the winning streak? I mean, again, we talked about momentum. I mean, you've got to have that, the fact that you're on this winning streak, I would think.
Well, I mean, we're going to be as good as we can be. There's no question about that, and we're going to have to play a great game. There's no question. Our defense is going to have to show up big again. And the offense is going to have to play real sharp and better than we did last week. Okay, so we're going to have a better game offensively. Our teams are going to need to be really good. Dan Village is up against the Krabina kid, 1-for-1 there. We got to win that battle. I have to win the team's battle. Our defense must slow them down. We got to slow them down. We can't let them go out there and run roughshod and pass for 500 yards. We know we can't allow that to happen. And offense has got to, we have to breathe some life into the team. You know, we can't go out there and not get a first down in the first quarter like we did last weekend. That, the game could well be over if that happens. We got to show up, ready to go, and make some plays and be in the game from the get-go. That's what we need to do.
I think Quinlan is as good as there is right now.
Well, I think he's the best quarterback. He's the best quarterback in the league. There's no question about that. Throws the ball short with accuracy. He throws a good deep ball, and he can take off and help his football team. I think a lot of their rush yards trace back to him taking off, and that puts another variable in there, where everybody loads up with this pattern read stuff, and then you leave the quarterback, and then he takes off. So he can get you. So he puts a lot of stresses and strains on the defense. I think, as I told you before, Ryan has, he's never been like the full-fledged every play starter. And I think what he's come to realize is that when you're carrying the football 20, 25, 30 times, you're sore the next day. And I think this is all a huge learning curve for him. We've done a pretty good job the last few years of distributing the rock and making sure that, we can get to this time of year where everybody was reasonably well rested in good shape. In his case, he's got a lot of work in the last few weeks, and that's just what it's like at that position. It's tough. He's not any more hurt or banged up this week than he was last week. In fact, what we weren't able to say last week was that he had the flu all last week, and he only practiced one night. And I think that had a little bit to do with his performance in the game. He was not quite as sharp in the game as he had been in previous weeks in terms of making the great cut and seeing things. And that is just a reflection of practice time. I think a running back has to do it, see it, react. It's all about that. And in retrospect, I probably should have interspersed the other running backs into the game, in the first half. you know how you get when the game's close. You put a relatively inexperienced player in, he fumbles, and so what's he doing in there when you've got the leading rusher in the league standing right beside you? So you kind of get, boxed in a little bit. That I felt it was a situation that even though he hadn't practiced as well or as often last week as I would have liked, that he was still a senior, he was still an experienced player. So let's go with the experienced player in a pressure situation. And to his credit, he kind of gutsed it out. He kind of worked through it, and then came alive in the second half. Most of his rush yards came in the second half. So, we're going to need him from the get-go. We need to be able to, move the ball with a diversified attack, from the opening whistle. So, but he's having a great week of practice, and he's good to go.
Assuming, if he can't go, do you think the team now would have a lot more confidence in Ryan than,
Oh, I'm definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think that, if you take away Ryan Mitchell's first quarter, take away his first quarter where it was the first start, fairly significant pressurized conditions there. From the final 3 quarters of the game, he played pretty well. 23 for 38 is a good day for any quarterback, but you take away the first quarter, and he's probably a 70+% passer on the day. And were there some things he missed? Yeah, there were, but I think that's understandable. So I thought that Ryan played extremely well. If we had another 2 or 3 weeks to get ready for this one, I think we could go in with a high level of confidence last year.
What recent games against McMaster stand in your mind besides the home opener this year?
Well, they've beaten us the last 3. We beat them the previous 3 or 4 before that, so it's kind of like it's sort of been an up and down, a little bit of a roller coaster relationship with McMaster. I do recall going down there in 2006 under similar conditions that we have, this week, and prevailing.
You try to rein in emotion. I know there was a lot of chirping last week. Is that because it's the postseason, or is it because of the team that you're playing against, or how do you see emotion, especially now when you don't win, you're going home?
Well, listen, at this time of year, I think the team that plays poised under pressure. So it's whatever it takes. I don't think our team is a big chirp team. I mean, I think our communication is a lot more subtle, perhaps, and that's the way I like it. There were some demonstrations last week in the game, and when you demonstrate that way and then things don't go your way, you kind of look a little silly at the end, that kind of thing. So, our guys need to play, and this is going to be a disciplined game. We need to be very poised. Our playmakers need to make plays. When this one's all over, it won't be about the chirping. It won't be about the fans. We're on the road. We're on the road, the rest of the way, likely. Although there is, I don't know what the percentage is. Nobody's betting on that one. Home game next weekend, I'll bet. So we need to sort of deal with those elements. The good news is our team is fairly confident. I think they have every right to be confident. I think the defense is really excited about this challenge. They're, regardless of how well they've played, and in this room they collected a lot of accolades, but the national media writes about offense. So that's the kind of thing that defensive players really rise up to to the occasion. This is a time of year when great defense pays off. For us, it's paid off all year, but you're going into the game, and we know that we can count on the #1 defense to show up and play hard, and they will, and that we're going to build on that. So that's where our confidence lies, I think. I mean, is that our guys are going to go in there and play hard on defense and special teams. On our offense, we're coming off a game where we didn't make too many mistakes. In fact, no turnovers. At this time of year, that's huge also. You may recall when we went down there in the playoff game last year, I think we had 6 or 7 turnovers, and that was the seeds of our demise were planted right there. So you can't make mistakes. You know, it's not the great play that's going to win the ball game. It's going to be the elimination of errors, big play errors. You can stay away from those, you have a chance.
So maybe just talk about Tom House, who's joined us.
Well, Tom, you know, it's great to have Tom here. First of all, Tom had, you know, very timely, had his best game of the season last week. He stepped in there, 6 big catches, blocked extremely well, contributed to our special teams performance. It was a grinder of a game, and, you know, he's a blue-collar football player, goes out there every night, does his job, plays bigger than he is, and he's had a great season. He's been very, very valuable for us. You know, he's provided, you know, kind of like the, you know, the tall, laid-back leader kind of thing. He's not a big holler guy. He just goes out there and plays by example. People admire his work ethic, his toughness, and we stretch him about as far as we can. So he's had a great season. He really has. He's an important part of our offense, and I think he's fired up, ready to play. I think that our guys we're not going to tiptoe into Hamilton. We're going to go and play and see what happens.
All right, thank you, Coach.